안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 Frank이에요, and welcome back to Korean Lessons with Frank. So last episode, we looked at some sample words to get a better understanding of how to pronounce different syllable combinations. Let's review those words, shall we? 안녕하세요, hello. 여러분, everyone. 먹다, to eat. 읽다, to read. 감사합니다, thank you. 박물관, museum. And remember, these words were chosen for their pronunciation, not for their meaning, so that's why the list is kind of weird. Now I think from this point forward, I'm going to begin every lesson with a vocab list, and over time, we'll build up a massive library of very important words. I'll do my best to only use words that we've already covered in example sentences, although for these first few lessons, I'll probably have to break that rule a few times just because of such a limited amount of words that we've already covered. So, here is today's vocab list. First of all, we have 저, which means me or I. 저. 저.
저.
The next word we have is 밥, which means cooked rice, although it's often used also just to mean food in general, because pretty much any time that a Korean is eating food, they're going to be also eating cooked rice. 밥. 밥. The next word we have is 책, which means book. 책. 책. 오늘, which means today. 오늘. 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 And 지금, which means right now, this moment. 지금. 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 Alright, so today's lesson is going to be over Korean sentence structure. Now there are 4 main components to every Korean sentence. These components are topics, subjects, objects, and verbs. Topics and subjects can get pretty confusing, so I'm only going to give a brief explanation of them in this video, and in a future video we'll go into more detail about the exact differences between these two types of sentence components. For now, think of the topic as the setting or the perspective of the sentence. The topic is the framework within which the entire sentence takes place. When a sentence has a topic, it is marked with the topic marking particle, either 은 or 는. 은 follows words which end with a consonant, whereas 는 follows words which end with a vowel. So think 오늘은 책은 저는. Let's look at an example sentence. 오늘은 제가 책을 읽어요. Can you find the topic marking particle in this sentence? That's right, it's just behind 오늘, meaning that 오늘 is the topic of this sentence. Whatever happened in this sentence, it happened today. Next, let's look at subjects. Subjects are an entity which does an action. Whatever is being done in the sentence, the subject is the one doing it. Subjects are followed by the subject marking particles I or ka. Just like with topics, whether you use I or ka depends on the ending of the word before it. So a word which ends with a consonant would be followed by I, and a word which ends with a vowel would be followed by ka. So when they're subjects, 책 would become 책이, 밥 would become Poppy.
I'm Poppy.
And this one's a little weird. 저 becomes 제가. There are a few words that change forms a little bit when they become subjects. I'll point them out when we cover them. 저 is one of them. So 저 as a subject is 제가. So let's look back at our sample sentence. And where is the subject marking particle located? That's right, it's behind the 체, which as we said, 체 was an alteration of 쳐, so 쳐 is the subject of the sentence. Whatever happened today, I am the one who did it. Next, let's look at objects. So objects are the thing that the subject does an action to. Objects have the marking particles 을 and 를. Can you guess which one goes where? Correct. 을 follows consonants and 를 follows vowels. Man, you're really getting the hang of this. So now let's look back at our sample sentence. Where is the object marking particle in this sentence? It's behind 책. So we know that whatever happened in this sentence, it happened to a book. So right now, we know that something happened today, I was the one who did it, and whatever I did it to a book. But right now, we're not sure what it was that I did. Did I burn it? Did I throw it? To find out, we have to look at the verb. A verb is the action taking place in the sentence. It's the thing that happened. Every Korean sentence ends with a verb, which is going to confuse you for a very long time. You don't get to know what happened until the end of the sentence. I guess Koreans really don't like spoilers. Now, if you look up a Korean verb in a dictionary, they all come in dictionary form, which you then have to conjugate into the correct form for whatever the situation of the sentence is. We'll go over conjugation in more detail in the next lesson, but for now, just know that if you're speaking in chandaemal, or polite speech, then pretty much every verb that you're going to see is going to end with yo. Let's look back at our sample sentence. So by process of elimination, you can tell that the verb is the last word in the sentence. 읽어요. So the action that took place in this sentence was reading. Man, that's kind of boring. I should have changed it to 배웠어요. So the full meaning of this sentence is, today I am doing something to a book and that thing is reading. Or, today I am reading a book. Korean sentences will almost always follow this subject, object, verb sentence structure, which is a contrast to the English subject, verb, object structure, which you will find in most English sentences. Let's look at another example. 지금은 밥을 먹어요. Notice something missing? That's right, this sentence doesn't have a subject. Here is another area where Korean differs from English. If it is clear from context what the topic, subject, or object would be, then Koreans will often omit these words. If this sentence was on its own, then the implication would be that the subject is 저. So the meaning of 지금은 밥을 먹어요 would be, right now I am eating rice. However, if this sentence was a response to a question, like 지금은 친구가 뭐 해요? Which means, what is your friend doing right now? Then 지금은 밥을 먹어요 would mean that my friend is eating rice right now. So context is very important for understanding Korean sentences. To finish off this lesson, let's talk briefly about introductions. So when you introduce yourself, you would begin by saying 저, followed by 는, the topic marking particle, 저는, and then you would follow this with your name and then 입니다. 저는 프랭크입니다. 입니다 is a formal conjugation of the verb 있다, which means to be. We'll talk more about 있다 in the next lesson, talking about verbs, but for now just know that it means to be or am. In cases like this, where the topic of the sentence is a person or an animal, something like that, then the emphasis of the sentence is being driven more toward what the verb says than what the subject or topic, I guess in this case, of the sentence is. So the meaning in this example is, Frank is who I am. Whereas if I were to say, 제가 프랭크입니다, turning the topic into a subject, then the meaning would be more like, the one who is Frank is me. Doesn't that mean the same thing? Well, you would only use the subject marking particle if someone was asking a question, like 누가 프랭크입니까? Which would mean, who is the one that is Frank? Hopefully that all makes sense. Like I said, I'll go into more detail about the differences between topics and subjects in a later lesson. I just want you to get a basic understanding of what these two parts of a sentence are. Alright, let's do a quick review. So the basic sentence structure of Korean is topic, subject, object, verb. Topics are the setting or perspective. Subjects are the thing which does the verb. Objects are the thing which the verb is being done to. And the verb is the action that is being done in the sentence. Topics, subjects, and objects are each often omitted if the context allows it. And if you want to introduce yourself, you would say 저는, your name, 입니다. Phew! Hopefully that all made sense. Now, if you liked my lesson and found it to be helpful, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions for how I can improve my lessons in the future, please leave a comment down below. If you like my lessons and want to continue following them, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, 안녕히 계세요!